Welcome back. The news in details. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi asserted that Egypt and South Sudan play a pivotal role in boosting efforts to reach a solution for the Sudanese crisis. The president was speaking at a press conference with the visiting South Sudanese President Salva Kiir following their talks in Cairo on Monday. President al-Sisi said the meeting tackled the repercussions of the Sudanese crisis on the region and added that both sides agreed to intensify efforts to reach a settlement in the near future.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and his counterpart, President Salva Kiir, engaged in an ongoing and productive talks Monday concerning the Sudanese crisis and its regional implications, particularly for neighboring nations, with Egypt and South Sudan at the forefront. During a joint press conference held at the presidential palace after their talks, President Sisi revealed that they agreed to intensify efforts and communication with relevant parties within Sudan to find urgent solutions to the crisis and spare the Sudanese people further suffering and turmoil. They also extended invitations to various Sudanese factions, urging them to prioritize Sudan's national interests over individual interests or external interventions that might exacerbate the situation and prolong the crisis. Recognizing the pivotal roles that Egypt and Sudan play in the Sudanese crisis, the leaders stressed the importance of not overlooking this fact in any initiative or effort aimed at resolving the crisis. They also emphasized that both countries have a deep understanding of the crisis nature and tribal complexities. Both highlighted the significance of the neighboring countries' approach and the outcomes of their meeting in setting the crisis. As of November 2023, over 5.8 million people have been displaced from their homes, including some than 3 million internally displaced persons in Sudan and over 2.8 million refugees who have fled to neighboring countries due to the non-stopping fighting between the Sudanese Armed Forces SAF and the Paramilitary Rapid Support Forces RSF since April. The discussions also covered enhancing cooperation between the two nations in the field of water resources and irrigation, with a focus on maximizing the utilization of the Nile River's resources. Egypt reaffirmed its vision that the Nile River should be a source of cooperation and development, serving as a lifeline for all the peoples of the Nile Basin countries. The leaders addressed developments related to the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam GERD and the ongoing negotiation process to reach a binding legal agreement on its filing and operation. Sisi also reaffirmed Egypt's commitment to standing by South Sudan and its people, particularly in terms of capacity building and the provision of technical expertise across various sectors. According to the South Sudanese presidency, aside from discussing various aspects related to cooperation between Cairo and Juba, the situation in Sudan and its civil war were among the top issues to be discussed, besides the situation in Gaza.
El Arish Airport continues on Monday to receive planes carrying humanitarian aid to ease the sufferings of the people in the Gaza Strip. Meanwhile, the Gazan Border Authority said on Monday that Egyptians and foreigners already on pre-approved lists will be allowed to enter Egypt after the Rafah border crossing had been closed for 2 days. The only entry into Gaza not controlled by Israel had opened to foreign nationals and dependents, as well as injured Gazans beginning on Wednesday. Egypt was seeking guarantees for the safety of ambulances used for evacuations, including escorts from the International Committee of the Red Cross. Egypt was also seeking to increase the amount of aid flowing into Gaza, including fuel, which Israel has thus far refused to allow. Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry on Monday stressed on the necessity that international parties shoulder their legal, political and humane responsibilities towards ending the humanitarian catastrophe to which the Gaza Strip is prone. In addition, Shoukry called on them to adopt a clear, frank stance for halting the Israeli occupation aggression against Palestinians in Gaza in order to provide the protection needed for Palestinian civilians and to reject the intended collective punishment policy of the Israeli occupation military, whether shelling, siege or enforced evacuation of Gazans from the Strip. Egypt's top diplomat made these remarks as he held a virtual meeting with the European Union's foreign policy chief, Josep Borrell, on the latest developments in the war-torn Strip. The meeting pressed for an immediate ceasefire and an urgent, sustainable access of relief aid to to put an end to the unprecedented humanitarian crisis marring the Strip. Foreign Minister Sameh Shukri on Monday held a phone call with his Iranian counterpart Hussein Amir Abdullahian. Spokesman of the Foreign Ministry, Ambassador Ahmed Abu Zaid, said that the phone call tackled the preparations for the forthcoming Islamic summit in Riyadh, adding the two ministers exchanged views over the security and humanitarian situation in Gaza. The spokesman said also that Minister Shukri reviewed the situation regarding passing humanitarian aid to the Gaza Strip and stressed the importance of not expanding the scale of the conflict. Welcome back. Egypt is offering incentives to shore up tourism industry in southern Sinai on the Red Sea, with fallout from the conflict in the Gaza Strip. The Egyptian Minister of Tourism said on Monday that tourism, a key source of foreign currency, was on track to earn more than $13 billion this year and had a target of 15 million visitors, despite some delayed reservations for the end of the year.
Egypt is offering incentives to shore up tourism industry in southern Sinai on the Red Sea, with fallout from the conflict in the Gaza Strip. Minister of Tourism Ahmed Isa said Monday that tourism, a key source of foreign currency, was on track to earn some more than $13 billion this year and hit a target of 15 million visitors despite some delayed reservations for the end of the year. Ratings firm S&P Global warned Monday that a fall in tourism due to the Gaza war could be significant in Egypt, Jordan, and Lebanon. Isa said Egypt was offering an extra $500 million of incentives per flight landing in Sharm el-Sheikh because this is where customers were asking the largest number of questions and working very closely with sailors, retailers, and airliners to keep them committed to Egypt. Isa added that strong numbers from Germany, which would account for about 10% of bookings for Egypt this year, and China, not traditionally a large market for Egypt, had helped tourist number rise 7% above the previous year by the end of October. As a part of a plan to expand the tourism sector by 30% annually, Egypt is trying to increase private sector participation, including to run services at tourist sites and airports.
Egypt's stock market indices fluctuated in the trading session on Monday amid selling and purchasing operations by investment funds in both directions. So the benchmark EGX 30 index slid slightly by 0.15%. The EGX 70 index for small and medium businesses gained 0.67%. And the broader EGX 100 index also went up by 0.43%. The market capital lost about £2 billion to close at £1,557 billion amid transactions of about £11 billion.